Hi friends. It's been a while. I'm so sorry it took me a bit of time to get back on here. However, today we'll be going over my March favors, but if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Alicia. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things, all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. I didn't want to bombard you with another recommendations and then here we go favorites. Always know timestamps be down below, and whatever I recommend doesn't mean you necessarily have to buy it. I just like to share my favorites, what I've been eyeing this month or the past 31 days. Maybe you already have these products and we'll just relish in the fact that you love them too. I have a list because if I don't have a list, I will not keep track. We are barefaced because, as you know, if you haven't been to one of my favorites before, they tend to be quite long. And I also like to provide not only b-roll but also live demos on the actual video. I'll be as quick as I can and be as concise as I can because I don't want to drag it, okay? I wanted to start off with the Kett Fixx Powder Foundation Muse Beauty Pro. They were really nice to send me these compacts, and I have a dedicated video going over the Kett Powder Foundation, the philosophy behind the formula, and what it's basically used for. This is in the shade 05. I also have N5. 05 is more of the olive undertone and N5 is more golden. And the thing about this product that I really love and I had to feature in the March favorites is the fact that the mica is shea butter infused. Typically powder foundations have a reputation of being very dry, appearing obvious on the skin because it's not a creamy or liquid type of a texture. What makes the Kett powder foundation extremely special is the fact that despite its powdery texture, it melts into the skin and leaves behind a beautiful luminous finish that does not appear flat. In fact, not only can I apply this on its own, I have also used this to set my liquid foundation if I want a little more coverage and not have it set as dewy, if you will. And I also use N6 as a bronzer, and I think the advantage you have when using a powder foundation for bronzer or contour is the fact that you can get a little more coverage from that product. So it's a double whammy in terms of benefit. And with that said, the Kett powder foundation is extremely smooth and I was just blown away by how the texture blended on my skin. It practically melted and I was really pleased with the finish that was left behind. Another powder foundation that I really love this month, unfortunately I wanted to do a dedicated video, but the new Suqqu Glow Powder Foundation that I failed to buy a compact. So this is just the actual pan. I decided to buy two shades, 040 and 030. I think I might actually have some footage here showing the swatches. Here is 030, which is more of like a, well, you know what? Let me hop on to the website. I think they actually have a shade description. Except menu, products. Oh, my bad. It doesn't have any shade descriptions. I'm so sorry. 030 is more, I think, of like a light neutral. Actually, this has a little more golden yellow in there. And what makes this very special, I don't know if you could detect that sheen, but it almost appears moussey. Like, can you see that luminosity in the finish? It is remarkable. I don't know what's in this stuff, but it is Suqqu, so I'm not going to question it. 040 has more of like the tan, so that is a jump for sure. And the shade range is not as extensive as I would like, simply because, again, Suqqu being a Japanese brand, now they're a lot more mainstream. They know that. The deepest shade right now is 160. Although it's not going to the deepest part of the spectrum, I think a lot deeper than their previous release. I think it was the Luminous Glow Foundation, or it was just the Luminous Powder Foundation. That had limited shades, but this one has a little more to extend a little deeper on the skin tone spectrum. These are the two I picked out, and I wanted to just quickly put this on, maybe a little bit of the Kett, you know what I'm saying? So with that said, while you come in a little closer, that's enough. Because we're about to apply this glow foundation, I will definitely have to speak about the beautiful foundation brushes that I worked with Fude Beauty on, and they were really nice to send their top selling liquid foundation brushes, and some of these actually can be used with powder foundation. So I'm taking the Mizuho brush. This is the CMP, it might be the CMP 10, 15. Going in with 030, and let's start buffing that in because I just want you to see this texture. It's just so beautifully soft. And if I were to compare this to the Kett, despite the amazing formula of the mica infused shea butter, it doesn't have that same moussey quality about it, like that moussey powder texture that this glow foundation has. And the fact that, again, it's a powder, but it looks extremely smooth on the skin, and I could go willy-nilly with this. I don't have to be afraid about applying too much whatsoever. And if you're my skin tone, I think 030 is a dead-on match. And I also wanted to experiment with seeing how the glow powder foundation looks on top of the cream foundation. This is in 035, and the cream foundation from Suqqu is just one of my ultimate top favorites, hands down. Although a cream foundation, it is still lightweight. It provides that beautiful coverage without looking heavy. For me, the skin shade is what really makes it for me. Going in with my Chikuhodo PF4 brush, just want it like this freaking brush, man. I can't stand it. I also have a dedicated video using this brush as well as the others. So this is how the foundation looks on its own. And if I wanted, I could apply a little bit of the 030 on top. I could go in with the Mizuho again, or use a lighter brush, for instance, the Chikuhodo, which again, a lovely brush line from Fude Beauty. They were so nice to send me these as well. I have a video breaking down a lot of the major brushes in the line. This is a goat hair. I believe this is a squirrel and goat hair blend. It's a lot lighter, so it's not going to lay down as much product as a buffer brush would. But see how that just sets the foundation a little bit more without it looking dry on the skin. Hold on. Nope. Oh, now I'm out of frame. Hold on. So here is just the glow powder foundation on its own. And here is the glow powder on top of the cream foundation. I mean, when it comes to Suqqu and skin, it's just so hard to be better. You know what I'm saying? Still going in with the Kett because I really like the Kett for its coverage. But I wanted to show you, if I wanted a little more, I could go in with the concealer as well from Suqqu, but the fact that the glow powder is so lightweight and creamy, you don't necessarily have to go in with your liquid foundation first. You most certainly could go in with your glow powder first, and if you wanted more coverage, you could use the cream foundation to cover those portions on the skin that need a little more covering. And then why not? You could go in with more of the glow powder foundation. I'm still using 030. Just slap it on top whatever you just applied, and it's nearly undetectable, and it feels so soft on the skin also. It's just a beautiful lightweight feel, and again, the way it just melts into the skin, and I don't feel like I have anything on my face. I do feel I have a little bit here with the cream foundation just because it's a cream and I felt like I applied something on my skin, but the glow is glowy. And if you wanted to see 040 in action, 040 has a little bit of like that tan type of a hue. So I'll take my smaller Chikuhodo brush just so you can see that on the hollows of the cheeks. Now it does have a little bit of sheen, so if you don't want that to come forward, then just be careful with how much you apply. I'm applying a whole lot because I want you to see. Okay, I just want you to see what's happening. But the 040 could be a good match for you as well if you wanted a little bit of warmth on the complexion. But what I've been really loving the Kett for is for bronzer. I mean, N6 is such a nice shade for bronzer. Like, it's the perfect tone. And although it's a powder foundation by nature, it doesn't look heavy on the skin at all, even on top of everything we have just applied. And I think the tone of the shade N6 just gives me the perfect amount of bronze without looking overwhelming. And again, despite it being a powder foundation, the laydown is virtually undetectable despite all the stuff that I've already applied. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Look at that. But look at that. My heavens, what is happening under those eyes? Nothing. That's what's happening. Well, this is not a new product, but I'm really happy to report that. Look, I'm almost done with my Shiseido. That's it. We're down to like one of the last bits. I have one on standby that I opened by accident because I couldn't find the one that I had already opened. But I'm really happy to have finally almost nearly finished a concealer, friends. We're getting there. Going in with brows quickly. This isn't a... Well, you know, I haven't used the Precisely My Brow as extensively. I have during the month of March, so why not? I could feature it as a favorite. I've been using the Goof Proof for a very long time, and I appreciate the Goof Proof for just the in and out nature of the product. It's a lot thicker than the Precisely, and I did enjoy how fast, or rather how quickly, I could get my brows on. But I've become quite accustomed to the thinner pencil and how that lends just a wispier look to the brow. And the fact that I could use more of a sketch type of a lay down of an application technique versus the Goof Proof, I feel I have to be a little more careful with. Because once you get that pencil on the skin, the brow is there. You know, it's like no mercy. But with the Precisely, I think there's a little more wiggle room in regards to how many mistakes you can make, or if you feel more comfortable sketching out the brows in this manner, like the I think the pencil design lends that experience more so than a Goof Proof. So I've been using the heck out of the My Precisely. I also have it in 2.5 because if I wanted a lighter brow, if I didn't want them to look as intense, I could go into 2.5. If I wanted to use both, I rely on 2.5 for the front of my brow. If I didn't want that to look as heavy in terms of it relying on the dark brown color, I could use 2.5 just to kind of lighten it up a bit. In addition to the Precisely, the Surratt brow pomade. I don't know if I featured this last month, but I've been going back and forth between Benefit and the Surratt, combining both. What I like about the Surratt brow pomade is that it has a little bit of color, but it's also going to give you that hold and really nice fluff. So I've been really enjoying my brow routine this month. I think the products that I've been using, they integrate very well, and they just make for a seamless eyebrow application experience for me. In terms of what, how I want my brows to look. I mean, I still even use the medium brow microblading pen that some people weren't crazy about, and I understand. It's a very lightweight moment, but I like the fact that it has these 3 prongs if I wanted to fill in those portions of the brow that don't need a pencil per se, but just need a little more light filling in. Now, staying on complexion, I definitely have to present the Melt. Now, I did mention in my original video that I thought this collection was rather monochromatic, and I wanted to have seen more vibrant shades, because there are some shades that look very similar when you apply them on your cheeks. And that's not to say that you have to get all of them. I got all of them because I wanted to review all the shades so you can have a better idea of what will look good on you or not. The one downside, and many of you had discussed this in the comments, is that they include fragrance in their formula, and apparently people love fragrance, and that's why a lot of brands insist on including fragrance in their products, and I'm just like, really? But I do appreciate the fact that it's very soft. It's a very soft cream that has nice glide, And I think because of that, very user friendly for many people who shy away from cream blushes. They think that they're going to mess it up, they're going to look like they don't know what they're doing. In comparison to many others like the LYS or even the Tower 28 formula, I do think the Melt Cosmetics is a little more user friendly than the Tower 28. Tower 28 formula, I believe, is castor seed oil based. It has more grip and not as much movement and slide like the Melt, and because of that, I feel people might feel intimidated because they really need to blend that out. The LYS has a lot more pigment, and I think a far more extensive range in terms of different shades. Like they have the berry, they have the peach, they also have the vibrant pink, the terracotta, and that's a lot more pigmented, and I think more suitable for deeper skin tones. Whereas the Melt is like, this is the theme right here, even with the deeper shades like Sundown and Daydreamer. Although one of you had said that Melt featured a deeper skin tone model on their Instagram that showed Daydreamer and it looked beautiful. So at this time, I think there are a lot more photos of different individuals who are wearing the cream blush lights from Melt, and maybe we have a better idea now of how extensive it is in terms of looking on different skin tones. But my favorite shade, Sandy Cheeks. When I applied this shade, it was like, wow. It is unlike anything I have in my collection. It's like a terracotta dream without the drag. Like terracottas, I love the brown, but if it's too brown, I have to apply it higher on the cheekbone so it could give me lift. But because it's still fairly peachy, I can get away with this definitely, most definitely on the cheeks. And just see how it spreads evenly. It doesn't take a long time to blend, and if I wanted to buff the edges, I could go in with the brush. But this color, I think out of all of them, maybe polished. Polish was one that I really enjoy. It's more of like that vibrant pink feel. I could apply it on this side. You know, I love Sandy Cheeks more than Honey Thief. I do. So polished here, in comparison to Sandy Cheeks, you see it has a little more pink there. I think actually this is the other shade besides Sundown and Daydreamer that will look beautiful on deeper skin tones, because there's definitely a lot more pink in terms of the vibrancy and not looking light like Honey Thief or Cali Dream. Polish is really nice as well. It definitely has like this sunburnt quality to it, much like Sandy Cheeks, you know, very much appropriate name-wise. But this, I feel, is such like, it gives the face flush, the complexion life. It looks so luminous, and the way it applies on powder is remarkable. It melts right in. It does not move the product underneath. It just melts on whatever you decide to apply on top of it. And the blend is virtually seamless. You cannot see where the cream starts or where the Kett begins. It just appeared like maybe I applied the Kett afterwards. Who knows if you didn't see the beginning of this video. Despite the smell, like I always have to mention, you're like, I know, Alicia, you told us already. I think the cream blush lights, the formula is really nice. It's really nice. I had made my complaints about the shade range in the original video. I won't go into that again. But the formula I really like. Not only can you apply the blush lights under or over powder, you can even reinforce the blush lights by applying them over powder, which is what I like to do. If you want a lighter dose of color and you don't mind it fading faster than it would if you didn't set it, or if you did set it rather, then apply it on your skin bare for sure. But if you want more of like that punch of color, I think if you apply the blush lights on top of a powder product, something like the Suqqu or the Kett, that just works so well with other products that they don't look heavy on the skin, you're gonna get more of a color punch, and you're gonna have better lasting power also. Or you apply a powder blush on top. Like if you wanted to go there, And I love Golden Hour 2 as like blush highlight moment. This has a little more sheen than the previous two. You see it there. It's so beautiful right here on tops of the apples of the cheeks. Look at that. I'm telling you, man, this is a really nice product. I cannot wait to see what Melt decides to release in terms of expanding their blush light collection. I wouldn't mind seeing some more cream highlights from them, you know what I mean? But these colors, I think, so summer appropriate. Like, it cannot get better than this in terms of summer cheeks. Like, and I know it can only speak for my skin tone. I know that. If you're around my skin tone, sandy cheeks and polished and golden hour. I'll stop there. Those three are beautiful. Daydreamer, I really love as a sculpt. But if you want to save money, maybe you want to get these during the upcoming Sephora sale. Although I don't know. I don't think all these shades are available on Sephora. Are they? Maybe Melt will have another sale also. So we got to wait it out. I don't think these are limited. These are a permanent product in the Melt line, which I'm very happy to say. I should hope so. So we could think on it and not rush into things. Oh, look at this skin. Yes, and I keep everything in the box. I put the compacts back in the box. How can I throw this away? Really? Never. Another complexion product, well, I guess it's all about the complexion this month, fam, that I wanted to do a dedicated video on the whole brand. It is the M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow Blush. This is in Venetian Rose. There are other shades in the line, but I do appreciate this formula as being as an all-over luminizer. It does have the blush color. It does have some sheen, but it doesn't look overly sparkly. It's a baked formula, as you see here from the compact, and you see the shine here from the formula. It's more satin in finish. I really appreciate that last dose of color and luminosity to just bring your look together. I do have all three shades. Faded Clementine is probably my favorite. I'm bummed that I didn't get the updated orange compact, but you know what you're gonna do. So for instance, Clementine, Faded Clementine on top of all of this, sandy cheek side, most definitely. It's still lightweight. It doesn't look like it overwhelmed the skin, but you see it brought the color a little more forward. And if you wanted a light powder product just to set everything, then that's what the Heaven's Glow Blush will do for me. Will do for you, possibly. Magic Hour is more of like that pinky type of a moment. Uh-oh, running out of space. So this is a lot more lightweight. If you're my skin tone, maybe stick to Venetian Rose or Faded Clementine. But Magic Hour can work if you already have something on. If I were to take Magic Hour and just brush it lightly on everything, because we already have the pink from Polished, it's just going to add a little more extra glow, again, without looking heavy on the skin, and just act as like a reinforcement. So it's gonna give a little bit of hold or a little bit of set. But we have like that color. Now, one product that I did buy, well, two, from M Cosmetics, that it was the Daydream Cushion Foundation. Two things. This is not my shade for sure. I purchased this in Sweet Secret Medium Tan. Very light for what I would consider to be medium tan. I definitely need the next shade down because this was way too light. And unfortunately, I could smell that sunscreen type of a thing. And you know, maybe I'm just too used to Japanese and Korean sunscreens where I plop a lot of that stuff on and I don't smell it at all. When I do apply this cushion, however, it did feel very heavy on my skin. And in addition to the shade just not being a great match for me, not something I would reach for. So I was looking forward to this and, you know, was disappointed that I didn't get my shade right, but I thought medium tan is usually where I would classify myself when shade matching online makeup. But I also thought the scent of sunscreen was a little overwhelming for me. So I think I'm a little late in returning this. I don't like returning product. I have to kind of decide what I could use this for. I was thinking I could use it more on the center of my face for under eye protection. So not all is lost. I don't want to just waste this product or have it go to waste by going bad. I will definitely find a place for it in my routine. but I will not be relying on it for overall sun protection and makeup. I will just rely on it maybe for a little bit of under eye sun protection here because it is a lighter shade, but not suitable for all over my face. And of course, the one standout eyeshadow palette that I have to feature for March. I mean, what would you think it was going to be? Natasha Denona's Circo Loco. Now, from the video and from the comments, I think it's fair to say that this is not for everyone. This is powwow, color in your face. Not only do I have a dedicated video going over the swatches, the product details, and doing 6 looks, I also have a live video diving in again. And I share this view on the live where I like how the colors are randomly placed. Some people didn't like that. They were like, oh, my OCD wants them all grouped together. For me, this is what circus is about. This is the circus experience. And it's crazy that people only think about clowns when they think about circus. No, there are a lot of different performances in a circus show. You have trapeze, you have the different categories of aerial, you have like bikes on a tight line, you have contortionists swimming in a bowl of water. I mean, there's so much, and I think that's what Cirque du Soleil offers. If you haven't seen one of those shows, I mean, they're all different depending on the city that they're in. Well, when they start having their shows again, it's just extraordinary. And I think this is what I feel and experience when I see this palette. So I love how the colors are all over the place. I love that there are no neutrals in here. Like, Natasha went for it, and I'm so happy that she did. And with that said, if you're not into it, if you're not into color like that, then this palette is not for you. Some had also mentioned that they wished this was in the midi sized. I like that it's in the bigger size because I think Natasha wanted to approach this as an artist palette. And if you are a pro artist, or even one that's a makeup enthusiast but loves to wear makeup every day and loves to dip into color, that she wanted these shades to come in the bigger pan so you could really go willy-nilly with them. Because in her tutorials, she doesn't only apply these shades on the lid, she applies them out from the lid and all over. So if you wanted to get crazy and maybe wet one of these shades and apply it all over your face or maybe on your body, then you have that option and not run out of product like you would probably if this was in the midi size. And I think with the exception of Gold and Biba, those are in the bigger size palettes. Glam and Bronze, I think, are appropriately sized in the midi format because those are more everyday. Those are more for people that don't really get into makeup every day, but once in a while. I think that's a great size for Bronze and Glam. So I'm really happy she came out with the big size for Circo. That's just my opinion. You can take it or leave it. It'll be great, though, to have a Circo Loco mini with Razzle Dazzle in there. Ooh. Or maybe new shades. Maybe new shades. That would be nice too. No neutrals. No neutrals in the mini either, okay? Calling it out right now. I think I'm gonna go real easy today, you know, because I'm trying not to be forever on the video. Cotton candy, patting it down. Definitely, I see it more if I pat it down like so. Oh, let's challenge ourselves and just stick to that. But if I do that, we could stick to this whole row, or we could just do this trio. Let's see what happens. Snow cone on the lid. I could also do Acrobat, but I wanted to use Acrobat as a liner. Let's take Acrobat and pull it across the lid. This is a REPHR number 3 brush. And boy, oh boy, another favorite this month. They released their new eye brushes. What did I just use to apply cotton candy? I used the number 16. 27 is a rounder brush, and I feel perfect for just more of like that buffed out type of a blend. And their newer 29, look how small this brush is. If you want more precise lay down, especially if you like to do wings, woo, you're getting a product on this little guy. The lines were looking sharp. And despite the bristles being super, oh god. And despite the bristles being super small, glide just beautifully across the skin. They don't drag the skin at all, which makes it for a smooth application, especially when you're doing wings like this. You know, it could be a little tricky. Picked up a little too much Acrobat. But now let's go in with Razzle Dazzle on the bottom here. This is one of the best shades in here, let me tell you. And then I'll take Firework on the inner part of the eye. I know that's very strange to do with the matte. Like, probably I would have done Firework on the greater under eye area and then Razzle Dazzle on the inner corner, but why not the other way around? And I'm dragging Firework under Razzle Dazzle so I could give it a little more gradient, and Snow Cone more on the inner corner, wrapping it down here. And I'm just having it stop in on Cotton Candy. You know what I mean? Just pump the brakes on that. And then I'm going to go completely different on this eye just to show if you wanted to really simplify this palette, you can. I'm taking Canon, which I would consider to be the most like low-key, well, besides Cotton Candy, in the metallic category of things, to be one of the more low-key looking metallics, because although it has a very strong copper orange hue to it, you would consider this maybe a neutral compared to the other shades in here. And I'm wrapping that in and around the crease so it can have a better gradient, excuse me, and not look as abrupt when it stops at the crease. So I'm taking REPHR number 14 with the same shade in Canon, and I'm pulling that through the crease using circular motions just to get the metallic in and around and further blur the edges of that shade. And if I want a little more here on the lid from what I blended, I just take my finger and tap down extra pigment there. And again, you could just be done here. Put like a liquid liner on top and call it a day. I will take Grin on the inner part of the lash line, or rather the inner corner, pull it over Canon so that could be a little highlight gradient movement, and go super light with Fun to Mime under the lash line. I know I'm skipping over a couple of pans, but it's okay. This looks really crazy, but I love it. If I wanted to add a little more definition, I'll go in with Flip and right under the lash line just to add more contrast there with Flip, because it's going to add a little more depth, and that gradient I think is going to be beautiful. And I'm using the number 3 just to further blur the edges of Fun to Mime, because I don't want it to look as sharp here. Oh, it definitely looks flipped. I love it. Going in with some chandelier lashes in classic charm. All right, lashes are on. What do we think of the looks, fam? I love this palette. I know it's not for everyone, but every time I open it, I feel inspired and motivated to use it. Not only just use the shades, but how I combine them. And lastly, Mama Pat's Liquilust liquid lipsticks. A huge thank you to Pat McGrath and her team for sending me these. It's always such a pleasure. Mama Pat. I know a lot of people are not crazy about liquid lipsticks, no matter what the brand, what the claims are. I do think for being a liquid lipsticks, these are quite comfortable. Now, with that said, they're not the most transfer proof. Like if I were to compare these to those Anastasia liquid lipsticks, those are very dry. In exchange for that non-transfer proofness, inevitably your lips will feel drier because the formula has to dry down so much that it's not going to move or transfer on another material or what have you. For instance, if you're wearing this under a mask. But more so are the shades. All the shades, and I have them on an IG Reels on the Instagram, they are absolutely beautiful. And I'm not always all about wearing like the pinks and whatever, but I was down with a lot of these shades. Let me tell you. I'm trying to decide which one to apply because they're all so pretty. All right, maybe I'll go in with Nude Cabaret. How about that? And also the doe foot is like this diamond shape that I feel makes it so easy to apply, especially around the edges. The texture is really nice, really easy to apply. And I, for liquid lipstick, I have worn these more often than I anticipated. And if you wanted to combine shades, for instance, if I wanted to go in Wild Orchid, I could do a little tap like outside here on the outer herder, and that gives a really nice gradient too. And I love how the colors, or rather the textures, layer, that when you combine them they don't look heavy or they don't look gummy on the lips. So here are all my March favorites on the face. So those are all my beauty favorites for the month of March. And to round out the favorites, I definitely have to share my collaboration with Aliens of Brooklyn. Joseph and I decided to do a spring collection and most recently added the unicorn fanning, which is probably sold out. Why am I mentioning that? Shame on you. But we're also doing custom dip dye hoodies. Let me just say this. I have been wearing this nonstop. Not because it's my merch, but how soft it is and how I just don't want to take it off. Ever. I'll wear it out for my walks. I like to wear it while I'm teaching. I like to wear it while I'm editing. Okay? If it wasn't because I was filming, because I know the hoodies could, you know, make me look cramped in the frame, so I'm foregoing it. But if not because of that, I'll be wearing it now. Okay? And if you wanted to custom dip dye your hoodie, you could choose the base color and decide if you wanted it dip dyed from the bottom or down from the top, and any of the colors that are available on the website. And ever since this cap dropped, I've been wearing caps like crazy because I just pulled my pony poof through here. That's adjustable. Yeah, so it's not super tight. It covers my face from the sun. And man, I look cool. I look incognito, you know? Like, don't talk to me. But hi, friends. They come in different colors. This one sold out, but is back in stock. The mineral acid wash, please. Fanny packs, I believe, are still available in the clear, yellow, and the rose, or apricot, I think, is what's on the website. I'm just really happy for all of your support and just your feedback on the items that you have purchased. No pressure at all, fam. I just wanted to share this collaboration as a favorite because it's so great when you work with people who have a similar vision as you, where it's a true collaborative effort in regards to what wants to be produced and the vision that both parties wish to share, and it's done so just immaculately. It feels so good to share these items because this is what I wear all the time. In addition to the flannel, oh my gosh, the flannel. This is the most recent addition to the flannel lineup. I mean, can you even? I think during this time as I was chatting, I would have posted photos so you can see, and I have a bunch of them on my Instagram. I think I'm going to do an Instagram highlights too so they could stay on there so you can have a better idea of how these items look. We decided to have the basics always on, like the caps, the beanies, and the hoodies, and have the dip dye option for a limited time just to kind of spruce up the interest. If you're like hoodies but you're like, I don't know, it's too basic for me, I want a little something, well, you have the option to make it a little more something. Really excited because, you know, between the suggestions you guys made and now brainstorming with Joseph, y'all not even ready. I will leave that link down below so you could take a look. Again, no pressure. I always appreciate even you just going to visit the site and seeing what we created, and keep posting those images. Either tag myself or Joseph at Aliens of Brooklyn. I don't think we have an official hashtag, but if you tag one of us, we'll definitely see it, and we love to repost looks because you guys just seeing you all wearing Hi Friends merch is surreal. And I just wanted to thank you for just, you know, you could buy anything you want, but for you to even just consider purchasing from this line and buying from this line is just, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy. And we have finally come to the end of the favorites. I'm sure I could have added more, but I just wanted to let me know what you've been loving or not loving so much in the month of March. I will see you down in the comments below, and until then, fam, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you in here again with another review tutorial, monthly favors extravaganza, get ready with me, or live chit chat. Take care, and I will see you again soon.